Hey, good people, how y'all doing? So today I'm going to be giving you my review on the season finale of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 21. Let's go. All I have to say, guys, is did Garcelle not speak for the people in this episode? Is Garcelle not the MVP of this episode? Garcelle was giving me everything and then some. Do y'all hear me? Lisa Rinna thought that Kyle was going to be the Kyle from years ago when it had to do with Kim, but she done flipped the switch and she is not that same Kyle. Miss Kyle is like, do not come for my sisters no more again. Lisa trying to make a reference to her dying from cancer, holding in the Kathy information is so disgusting. I'm just like, what would make you think that's what you should say? We'll get into that in a minute. And for most of the episode, I'm sitting here looking like, Dorit, where are you? How is it that Garcelle was more of a friend to Kyle in this episode than we've seen Dorit over the last umpteen years? Can y'all help me understand that? Anywho, let's get right into this review. We open up with Garcelle hosting a Birkin and Bubbles party at her house. She has her friend who used to own some type of high-end business out there on Rodeo Drive, and he has brought all of these Birkin bags that he resells. And if there's one thing you know about this group, Kyle in particular, these women love them some Birkin. Speaking of Kyle, when she came to the party, did y'all not see how she bum rushed Sutton? Now, Sutton was holding a $24,000 Birkin bag. Kyle came into the party with a $60,000 Birkin bag. Why was Kyle trying to get at Sutton's $24,000 Birkin bag? Can y'all help me figure that out, please? Like, Kyle, girl, you are so pressed. Back over at Kyle's house, she is getting ready to host a party of her own. She's actually hosting an event for the Princess Grace Foundation, so that should be really nice. Back over at Garcelle's, I felt like the outfit that Garcelle had on, y'all. Girl, why did you not wear that for the reunion? Did y'all see Garcelle's reunion dress or whatever that was she had on? I am definitely going to do a video about these women's looks, but that Burberry that Garcelle had on at her house, girl, you should have saved that for the reunion. I'm just saying. I thought it was funny that all of the ladies who own Birkins came to the Birkin party with a Birkin bag on. I also thought it was really nice seeing Patrick. You guys remember Patrick, the butler from Kathy's house last year? Well, Garcelle has him over at her house this year working this party, and he and Joshua, who happens to be Sutton's assistant, are, kind of flirting over there in the corner. They're getting so carried away with one another that they're forgetting what they're supposed to be there doing. Like, Mr. Butler, Mr. Patrick, you are supposed to be serving the drinks, sir. Okay? We do see finally that Garcelle has made the leap with the encouragement from Kyle to go ahead and purchase her first Birkin bag. What I love about this is that Kyle puts Garcelle on a little bit and lets her know, girl, I know that you feel like this bag is a lot of money, but you have to look at it from the standpoint of this is an investment, okay? Once you get this bag, it is going to continue to increase in value. Therefore, you might be paying like $14,000 or $15,000 for the bag right now, but give it a couple of years and you're definitely going to earn a lot more on it. And I'm just like, yes, Kyle. This is the mindset that rich people have, and that's why the rich stay rich. Kyle pulls Garcelle aside and she's telling Garcelle about Kathy's meltdown. Garcelle says that if Kyle wants to sweep everything under the rug to keep her family intact, then Rinna needs to butt out. That has been what many people have been saying for the last couple of weeks. For the life of us, we just can't seem to wrap our minds around why Rinna is more pressed about this Kathy thing than Kyle is. What Rinna is not realizing is that Kyle is just not thinking about her relationship with Kathy, but she's also thinking about the relationship that she has with her nieces and her nephews. And not only that, but the relationship that their children have with one another. And we already know that Kyle and Kathy have had their falling out in years past and have gone an extensive amount of time without talking to one another. And of course, she doesn't want this to be the same situation all over again. Not to mention that Farrah is getting married. Kyle wants her sister and all of Farrah's cousins there to support her. Garcelle asks Rinna what it was like seeing Kathy the other day. Rinna says that seeing Kathy was a good thing to have happen, and she just basically left it at that. She then went on, Rinna that is, to ask Kyle how she felt, and Kyle said that she felt better that Kathy apologized and she just wants to move on. I really, at this point, don't know how many times Kyle needs to tell these women that she just wants to move on regarding the Kathy situation. It's just at this point like a broken record. Rinna's sitting there recounting to the rest of the group, locking herself in the room from the night in Aspen because she was allegedly so scared. And as I'm listening to this story for the however many times that I've listened to it, I'm like, this is the same Lisa Rinna who was fearless when she took that glass cup and broke it across the table trying to get at Kim Richards. That Rinna is scared? Okay, whatever you want us to believe, Lisa. Kyle says in her confessional that Rinna can be a dog with a bone and feels Rinna is more upset that she had to witness Kathy's behavior than actually looking out for Kyle. And that's where Kyle is wrong every time. Kyle, Lisa Rinna does not care nothing about looking after you. Now, you should expect that from your sisters, yes, but your friends, maybe you have one or two good friends, but Lisa is not in that number of good friends that you have if you think that this woman is going to sit there and have your back like that. You got it all wrong, and we're going to need you to come to an understanding about that. Kyle again emphasizes the fact that she has to move on with this whole Kathy situation. Sutton says that she thought the ruckus was all about the dress code in the club, and Crystal mentions the fact that it was so loud they don't even know what was going on. So again, we don't have the story of exactly what was said, what was done, because it was, according to the people that were right there, too loud for them to hear and understand, and there is no audio and no video. So for me, if I can't see it and I can't hear it, it didn't happen. Now, I will say, I 100% believe that Kathy had a meltdown. However, I don't believe the meltdown was the extent of what Lisa Rinna is trying to make it out to be. I think that Lisa Rinna, as I've stated in previous videos, is making this situation bigger than what it actually is to distract from everything that Erika has said and done throughout this season. That's my opinion about that. Rinna corners Kyle in the kitchen just so she can again tell her that she hopes Kathy takes everything that has happened and takes it as an opportunity to learn how she can grow from this and how she can do better. And I'm looking at Lisa Rinna like, girl, you are not even a person who should be giving any type of advice about how you should act or what you should learn or anything like that, because you have been on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for some time now. And over the years, the one thing that has been consistent with you is you continue to put your foot directly in your mouth. So until you learn your lesson about how to keep your mouth shut, you ain't got nothing to say to me. If I'm Kyle, that is how I am approaching Lisa Rinna. For me, the fact that Lisa keeps talking about Kathy wanting to keep her silenced and Erika talking about, oh, well, they've treated me this way for the last year and a half and boo, 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 boo. All for me makes it seem as if these women are just trying to come after Kathy. I'm sorry. Like, I gotta call a spade here. As Lisa and Erika are driving in the car on their way to Kyle's event, Lisa talks about this whole tabloid picking up the Kathy story, and she says that, they're recounting the story almost verbatim as to how it happened. And you see Erika's reaction is kind of like a shrug, like, oh well, I don't really care. She don't care. Why doesn't she care? Because I believe, allegedly, that she is the one behind the leaks. That's just my opinion. All of the ladies now arrive to Kyle's. And listen, I wish that all of these women would have worn what they're wearing at Kyle's event to the reunion, because it just would have looked so much better. I mean, these women for Kyle's event were dressed immaculate. I didn't see one person dressed really bad. If I had to go for my least favorite look, I would definitely say Garcelle. I understand you wanted to have the green accents, but the green lipstick, girl, no. That wasn't working for me. But aside from that, all of these women look absolutely beautiful. So you know that these women are supposed to, if they like, of course, to go ahead and wear some of the jewelry that the foundation is trying to sell for their charities. Diana, being the rich, you know what that she is like, no, I'm not going to do that because look at my hands. I mean, I'm already wearing the diamonds. I'm like, every chance Diana gets, here she goes, always throwing her wealth in our face. Diana, we know that you are a very wealthy woman, and I hope and I pray that this is the last time you grace my TV screen this year, okay? Once we get to the reunion, girl, I don't want to see you no more again. I'm just saying. You can exit stage left and stay right on over there. Did y'all see Erika bust into Kyle's door like she owned the place? I'm just like, Erika, are you that pressed to wear that jewelry? Erika is trying to live her best life all over again. Erika, that time for you has come and gone, girl. Okay, we in a different pay grade, we in a different pay scale. Calm down. The door wasn't even closed before she and Rinna started to talk about all of these diamonds, and I'm like, geez, relax. Kyle and Crystal are over there talking, and Crystal tells Kyle that everything needs to be handled between her and Kathy. Like, keep everybody else out of it. For me, in this moment, seeing Crystal talk to Kyle, it's clear that she is well aware this is more than just a show at this particular point in time. This is a relationship between family. And being that Kyle and Kathy have had a falling out for 10 years, they did not speak to one another. She understands these women need to go ahead and mend their situation on their own outside of this group, which is everybody's sentiment with the exception of Lisa and Erika. Kyle says that the people that are going to be hurt are her and her kids. We already see that they showed the flashback in this episode of when Lisa Vanderpump and her husband were asking Kyle's children if they were invited to, I believe it was Nikki's wedding. And it was only like 2 out of her 4 kids, or however many kids she has, that was going to be going to the wedding. So we know that their relationship has been fractured in the past. And Kyle just wants everybody to make peace and be cool with one another. I mean, really, life is too short. Everybody is now seated at the dinner table, and I found it funny that Dorit forgot that her husband PK was there with her. She's like, who's sitting next to me? Girl, your husband? Like, I know you're accustomed to having Kyle sit next to you, but PK is actually present today, Dorit. And then on the other side of the table, poor Mauricio sitting over there trying to chit chat with everybody is ripping up Kyle's beautiful gown. Mauricio, we're going to need you to go find a seat, please, and get up off your wife's gown. I thought it was very interesting that Garcelle is sitting next to Kyle. How many of these functions have we ever seen Garcelle and Kyle sit together at the dinner table? It's usually Kyle, Dorit, Erika, and Rinna, and then Garcelle and Sutton off somewhere else. I thought this was very interesting. And I really feel like Kyle wanted Garcelle to be there with her because Garcelle was giving the most sound advice to Kyle. She was a listening ear when Kyle wanted to say what she wanted to say to Garcelle at the Birkin and Bubbles party. And I think Garcelle, also having come from a family where she has 5 sisters, she most certainly knows how to navigate these sister feuds. So I think that maybe Kyle feels some type of solace having Garcelle there. And let's not forget to mention that Garcelle is really, for the most part, a straight shooter. She does not really hold her tongue. She wants to know something, she's going to ask the questions. So Kyle asks Garcelle if she had spoken to Kathy, and Garcelle is like, yes. And Kyle's like, and what happened? Garcelle says to Kyle, she's really upset about everything that's going on in the press about her. Garcelle says in her confessional that Rinna not letting the Kathy thing go may really hurt Kyle and Kathy's relationship. She questions, is it worth it? Saying only Rinna knows the answer to that. Kyle tells Garcelle that Kathy apologized to both her and Lisa. At this point in the conversation between Garcelle and Kyle, Erika across the table is all up in their mouths. All up in there, listening verbatim to everything that they're saying. Garcelle tells Kyle that her friends don't seem to care anything about her because if they did, they would let this whole Kathy thing go. Erika then proceeds to tell Rinna, who's sitting right next to her, I'm telling you right now, these two, they're coming for me. And Rinna says to Erika, oh, they're coming for me too. Now, if we look at this party, we see Dorit, we see Crystal, we see Diana, we see Sutton, we see Cherie. They're all having a good time, enjoying their environment, the people that are sitting next to them, whatever. The only two individuals that are pressed about what the heck it is that Garcelle and Kyle are talking about is Erika and Lisa. Why? Because they're guilty. Okay? They're guilty of whatever it is that's going to come out later in this episode. Garcelle says to Kyle that this whole thing about Kathy is nothing but a distraction for everybody to stop talking about Erika. Kyle then tells Garcelle that she feels like an opportunity has been taken advantage of. So she's basically saying the situation that happened with Kathy, Lisa, Rinna, and Erika are using it as an opportunity to try to blow the whole thing out of proportion. The ladies all get up from the table, and Garcelle, being the straightforward person that she is, comes right at Lisa Rinna and asks her, what was it that she was so offended by that Kathy said? Lisa said, I didn't need anything from Kathy. Garcelle then says, if Kathy apologized, then everybody should let it go. Rinna asks, well, who's not letting it go? Who? Who said anything about not letting it go? Garcelle says, you and Erika are not letting it go. Lisa Rinna then had the nerve to say to Garcelle that Garcelle is giving Lisa Rinna an attitude. It was in this moment that I felt as if Lisa was gaslighting Garcelle, and that for me is never something that's okay. Garcelle is already on an island of her own based upon her appearance. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. Now you're trying to label her and say that she's giving you an attitude. It's almost like what, she's the angry black woman. Lisa, that's not cool. And if you had said that to any one of them women from Atlanta, they would have gave you your butt right there on your plate. Secondly, the only person with an attitude was Lisa. Did y'all see how she was cocking her head to the side and waving her hand all up in the air? But you want to say Garcelle is the one with the attitude? Girl, bye. Garcelle tells Lisa straight up, listen, to be honest with you, I feel like because we're talking about this Kathy thing, we're no longer talking about Erika. And it feels like you guys are gunning for Kathy. Here comes Erika, because you know she got something she got to say. Her one and only sob story about how people have been coming for her, blah, 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 blah. Erika, girl, you put yourself in the situation that you're in. You should have kept the same energy that you had last year and kept your mouth shut about this whole situation. We would have understood you crystal clear if you would have sat up there and said, you know what, this is an ongoing investigation. I cannot share with you anything until this investigation wraps up. But you didn't do that. You proceeded to say things like, oh, well, we don't even know if the victims really didn't get their money. When you say stupid stuff like that, you're opening up the door for people to judge you. So please keep your sob story to yourself. I don't want to hear nothing else about what you've gone through over the last 2 years, because you might not have had anything to do with your husband's dealings, but the way that you have acted since knowing everything that he's done has been disgusting. Once again, Kyle's stance about this whole situation is clear. She says, I don't want my family to be ruined. I want everyone at my daughter's wedding. We have to let it go now. I don't understand why this is so hard for Erika and Rinna. Rinna says you can't just sweep everything under the rug. And I'm like, why not? You do that for Erika all the time. Garcelle says it can if Kyle wants it to happen. Lisa says the most ridiculous thing anyone on the Housewives have ever said, in my opinion. She then says, I am not going to take it to my grave, meaning this whole thing that happened with Kathy, because I would get sick and get cancer if I did not express this. Now, I have a couple of problems with this statement. Number one, cancer is a very serious thing. And if you've ever known someone to have gone through this horrible disease, you know how bad it not only wreaks havoc on that person's physical being, but also the havoc that it wreaks on the family. So for you to sit up there and equate holding Kathy's whatever she had going on to your grave and getting cancer from holding it in to people that actually had to deal with cancer and are dealing with cancer, it's ridiculous. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Secondly, express what? Because up until this point, I have yet to hear you say anything that Kathy said that was so horrible that you just have to express it. So unless you're going to open up your mouth and say verbatim what this woman supposedly said, I'm going to need you to shut up. Even Erika in this moment widens her eyes like, girl, now you're going too far here. You're going too far. Garcelle, Sutton, Kyle, they're all rolling their eyes at Lisa. RHOBH says in her confessional, wow. And Diana, of all people, is like, did she really say that? So you already know, like, girl, you just don't say stupid stuff like that. It is very upsetting to have heard her say that. And I think that she needs to issue an apology. I really do. Garcelle says in her confessional, we're on Days of Our Lives again. Exactly, because Lisa's acting is just, it's terrible. And you know what? Maybe people would say, something did go down. Maybe Lisa's not lying. But people can't even form that conclusion by the way that Lisa has been acting about this whole situation. If she would have just calmed down and been coherent in her speech and her thoughts about everything that happened with Kathy and made it a little bit more believable, maybe I could say, wow, Kathy must have really said some horrible things. But the simple fact that she, I feel like, is exaggerating everything, it's hard for me to believe anything that comes out of her mouth. Now, I will say again, I do believe Kathy had a meltdown. I do believe that she said things about Kyle that she should never have said. I 100% believe that. Why do I believe that? Because she issued an apology to her sister and to the rest of the women in the group. Okay, so I'm not saying Kathy is innocent here. I'm just saying I don't think Kathy went in the way that Lisa is trying to make it seem like she did. Lisa Rinna goes on to say that Kathy said things that can ruin people's lives forever. And again, girl, if that's the case, say what it is that she said. Erika says she doesn't even know what it was that Kathy said, but she hopes that Lisa tells. Of course you know. Whatever it is, you know, because even Kyle said that Lisa was giving you a play by play of everything that was happening. So, Erika, like, please. Crystal says what Kyle is trying to say is that she wants to mend things with her sister, and this is the legacy of her family, which is so much bigger than anything. Basically, telling these women once again, this far exceeds this show. This is about these women's real lives and their real relationship. So it basically needs to stop. So here goes Erika. Oh, I need to say something again. And again, she's talking about, oh, how she's had to deal with whatever for the last 2 years. Erika, please shut up about it. Kyle then says to Erika, so that's why you want Kathy to be called out. Erika doesn't deny it. She's like, yes, that's it. In this moment, Kyle, you have seen and heard enough. These girls are not your friends. Kyle proceeds to walk away from the table, and Dorit is running after her. I'm looking at Diana and Dorit like y'all always have something to say when it's Sutton on the chopping block, but y'all don't have nothing to say about this situation right now. Especially Diana, because she's always opinionated. You don't have nothing to say? Kyle says to Dorit, don't you think it's weird that this is being leaked to the press? Dorit says that she does, of course. And at this point, the rest of the ladies have decided it's time for them to leave. So as they're leaving the backyard, Lisa is literally dancing her way out of Kyle's backyard, almost as if to say, mission accomplished. I came and did what I said I was going to come and do. Ooh, Lisa works my last nerves. Back inside, Dorit asks Kyle if she thinks someone in the group leaked the information, and Kyle says yes, she 100% believes that someone did. Kyle says in her confessional that she heard that there were leaks coming out of the Aspen trip, as well as hearing from a reliable source who said that there were even leaks that did not make print, meaning that people did not write up stories about the leaks for whatever reason. So Kyle's good friend Faye, you know, we've seen Faye over the years. She's now in the kitchen or in the house with Kyle, and Kyle's like, Faye, I have to fill you in about everything that's going on. And she pretty much tells Faye about all of these leaked stories, which prompts Sutton to go directly to Erika and Lisa and ask them if either of them have leaked any of these stories to the press. Before Sutton could even finish asking the question, Erika's like, no, and immediately walks toward Kyle's direction. Sutton then asks both Erika and Rinna again, have any of you guys leaked this information to the press? And Erika's like, no, I don't know how to. And I'm looking at Erika like, girl, you don't need to know how to. You just need to know the right people to tell. I don't know nothing about leaking nothing. But if I wanted to leak something, I'm sure I could figure it out. So please miss me on that. Kyle then tells Erika that it was someone who works for you. Erika doesn't seem surprised by Kyle saying this at all. It's almost as if she's heard this before or she knows this to be firsthand the truth. Erika then shrugs her shoulders and says, interesting. And this is the same shrug that Erika gave when Lisa was talking about everything being leaked in the car on the way to Kyle's house. To me, Erika's reaction is a tell. She knows exactly what Kyle is talking about. Kyle then goes further and tells Erika, well, it was your publicist who leaked this information. Erika doesn't seem stunned, surprised, or nothing. She simply tells Kyle, "My publicist did that? If that's the case, you should show me what you have." Kyle, who is cool, calm, and collected as well, says, "Okay, I'll send you what I have. I can get that over to you." So here goes Lisa, and at this point, both her and Erika's whole demeanor, their voice octaves, everything has changed. Lisa's like, "Well, I've gotten a lot of calls from my publicist saying things that have been said about me. A lot of things out there that is not necessarily a leak." Kyle stops her right dead in the middle of a sentence and says, no, I don't even have a publicist and nobody has called me about anything. So, girl, please shut up. She didn't tell her to shut up, but I know that she probably wanted to in that moment. Erika then says, "Well, I know that me and Nikki, who's Kyle's niece and Kathy's daughter, both have the same publicist. I don't think it would be in his best interest, meaning the publicist, to leak that information out about Kathy." Girl, this is Hollywood. Nobody is loyal to anybody in Hollywood, okay? So you trying to make it seem like because you guys share the same publicist, everything should be copacetic is laughable to me. Laughable. Erika says in her confessional that Kyle is afraid of what Kathy will do to her. I don't think Kyle is afraid of what her sister will do to her. I think Kyle is afraid of going another 10 years not speaking to her sister. Life is short. She don't know if she has 10 years and she don't know if Kathy has 10 years. So she's trying to keep that relationship on the up and up. Kyle says to Erika that the stories were even given at Erika's little hair party that she had to the tabloids, and there was a play-by-play text of everything that happened in Aspen. In this moment, the camera pans over to Dorit, and she looks absolutely disgusted hearing everything that Kyle is laying out there. Erika and Rinna are both questioning Kyle about why there was a play-by-play, and if there was a play-by-play, how come it wasn't published? And at this point, they're both just looking really guilty. I mean, talking over Kyle, and both of them can't even finish a sentence before the next one is trying to say something. It looks fishy to me. Not to mention the fact that we all know how Erika responds when she feels like someone is calling her a liar. Don't we remember how she dug all the way up Teddy's behind when Teddy insinuated that Erika was lying? We see none of that aggression right here. So that also tells me, girl, you don't seem to be telling the truth. Rinna says in her confessional that Kyle accusing Erika's publicist is BS, saying Kyle knows exactly what happened. And I'm like, well, how is it that Kyle knows exactly what happened, but when you were outside in her backyard and asked all of the women what they knew, each and every one of them said they don't know what happened? Lisa, please make it make sense. She goes on to say, this is Lisa, that she can't believe Kyle would go to this extent to try to cover for Kathy and calls it unbelievable. See, the problem with Lisa is that Lisa was expecting to get the Kyle years ago that dealt with the whole Kim and Lisa situation. You know, that Kyle that ran out of the restaurant because Lisa broke that glass across the table. That Kyle that wasn't even trying to defend and stand up for her sister, to the point where Kim said to Kyle, if Kathy was here, she wouldn't let none of this happen because she's a real sister, unlike you. See, Lisa was expecting that Kyle. This Kyle, nah, she's not falling for the okie doke, okay? She's wide awake. She's woke. Garcelle then asks Rinna why did she defend Erika right away when Kyle brought up the publicist thing, opposed to asking Erika if she thought that someone in her camp would be capable of leaking this information. And this is a great point, something that I myself didn't even think of. So kudos to Detective Garcelle. You are on the money, honey. Rinna says, well, I wouldn't even think to ask that. Of course you wouldn't, girl, because you already know the answer. Erika again talks about how she's been chewed out for the last 2 years, blah, 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 blah. Erika, please give it a rest. Garcelle says, why would someone want to take Kathy down? Erika says she is sure Kathy has a lot of people who don't like her, which prompts Faye. Faye was in the background like, who don't like Kathy? Kathy is amazing. Did y'all hear Faye? Okay, Faye, go ahead and come on back to being a friend of the show. Rinna says it's not about anyone taking Kathy Hilton down. Kathy Hilton can take herself down. Faye again in the back pipes up and says, no, she won't. I'm like, Faye is coming with it, okay? What Kyle is not saying, Faye said, girl, I got you. I got you. Kyle says, well, maybe it's someone who wants to take the distraction off of Erika. And then Erika had the nerve to say, I love your sister, meaning Kathy, but she is not well known enough to take the distraction off of Erika, speaking about herself in the third person. Erika, Girl, are you delusional? Did you have one too many, whatever it was that you was drinking tonight? You're trying to sit up here and say Kathy Hilton is not as known as you. Girl, I had never heard of Erika Jayne's song, never saw Erika Jayne, don't know nothing about you before you came on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Shut up. Even Kyle in her confessional says, I'm sorry, Erika. I think Hilton trumps Girardi. Absolutely. Dorit whispers to Kyle that she should never have brought any of this up because Lisa is basically saying, listen, we were all just going to go home, but now you want to talk about Kathy and you're making it be the big thing that you said you didn't want it to be. So Rinna and Erika are basically laughing on the way out of Kyle's house. Rinna is saying, well, if it's not out now, it will be. And Kyle, see, she didn't expect Kyle to hear what she was saying. So Kyle was like, no, you guys need to stop it. Like, I don't want it to go any further than what is already gone. So this is Kyle again letting these heifers know, I know the two of you in some way, shape, or form are behind this whole thing. And you two need to stop. Dorit is talking about something about standing on her own island. I don't know what it was that she was trying to say. Some of these parts in this episode, to be quite honest, the editing was not the best. And I think it's because they wanted all of this other stuff to come out, which is understandable. But that's pretty much the end of the episode. You guys let me know what you thought about this episode. I thought that this was really a good episode. I'm sad that it had, it's ridiculous that it had to take 21 episodes for us to get here, but I'm happy that we have now finished the finale and I am patiently waiting to see what this reunion is going to yield. Guys, let me know what you think. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Again, guys, I am not saying Kathy Hilton didn't say anything because I believe that she did say things. I just don't believe it went to the extent that Lisa Rinna is saying that it did. I definitely feel that both Lisa and Erika are dead wrong and have shown their hand to Kyle. And if Kyle wants to continue to be friends with these two people, God bless her. Kyle does say also in this episode that if she had to choose between two friends in her blood, she's going to choose her blood. So I'm happy that Kyle is finally seeing the light, and I really hope that she and Kathy, as well as Kim, can move forward in their relationship because I think at the end of the day, that's what their mom would have wanted anyway. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.